Hi, everybody. Please welcome with me Sophia Kofoed. Sophia is awesome. She's one of my favorite people I've gotten to know during this journey. She's amazing, talented, smart, funny. She's got an awesome, loving family, very bright future ahead of her. She's a freshman at St. Mary's in California. And Sophia was a great lacrosse player, still is. But she unfortunately is one of the many girls we've met over our journey who suffered a life-changing head injury on the field. So thanks for doing this, Sophia. Welcome.
Thank you, Rob. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to be talking about this and about this journey and about everything that I've been through and how I've connected with you and how your company truly is just creating safety in the girls' game, and how much I wish that I'd been wearing headgear a long time ago when I suffered a brain injury. So thank
Nuts.
you. I'm really happy to be here to talk to you.
Yep. No, you've just been such a great supporter of what we're doing. So why don't we start? I don't know. I always say I don't know much about girls lacrosse. I've been on a lot of fields, but what is it that you love so much about girls lacrosse?
Well, I played lacrosse for 9 years and I loved every minute of it. It was just, I always just felt so powerful on the field and just strong and beautiful. And there's something about playing on the lacrosse field where you can just be, as tough as you want. And I love that about the sport. I loved the girls' game, and lacrosse really was my life for 9 years, and it still is a huge part of my life. So there's not a sport that I love more than lacrosse.
Yeah, no, I know you've talked about it like that, and it is. It's a great game. It's such a free flowing game, and the movement and the running. Great sport. We're big fans here at Hummingbird Sports. So, can you talk as much as you can? You're comfortable with. Can you talk about that day? How long ago was it now?
Yeah, so it was a little bit less than 4 years ago now, and I was a freshman in high school, and high school was going really well. I was through my first half of the semester. It was actually St. Patrick's Day. I remember that. It's really weird fact, but I remember that. And we were playing our rivals, and I remember telling my mom right before the game that I was the happiest I'd ever been. I had like friends in high school, and I was in lacrosse and playing a sport I loved. And so really right then I just told her right before that game, oh, I'm so happy, Mom. And then during that game, it was just, I was on fire. I actually don't remember, but I was told that I scored 5 goals. I was winning the draws. I was just on fire and loving every second of it. And I was wearing headgear, just like the little, or not headgear, the little eyewear at the time. And was nothing on my head. And I ran down the field, and a girl by accident just hit me in the temple. And then I just like kind of stopped for a second. I was like, I'm okay. I'll just keep going. So then I just kept going, and I ran down the field, and I was a little phased, but I was like, I told myself I'm fine. And then I was trying to defend a girl who was shooting in the opposite cage. So I was on defense, but I was behind her. So I was running behind her. And as she swung back to shoot with her stick, she hit me again, or a different girl, but she hit me in the temple totally on accident. But it was just part of the game. And at that point, I just fell straight over, and I hit my head for a third time, and I blacked out. And the next thing I remember was just totally disorienting, like sounds and images. And it was just so scary because I couldn't focus on anything. And little did I know, I went to the sidelines, and everyone's like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I was still super disoriented. And the person there was like, it's probably just a minor concussion. Well, that night I was in the hospital, and I remember I was just like laughing uncontrollably, and I was crying, and there was something seriously wrong because I'd always been a very emotionally stable person. And so then that was when my family was like, something is seriously wrong. So I was in the hospital and I was talking to the neurologist, and then I started taking all of these concussion tests and I failed all of them. And so then about a week later, I was still in it, doing the dark room, couldn't talk to anyone. I couldn't even think, much less, see words. And I'd come from being a star student and on the debate team, and all of a sudden I couldn't focus on anything. And then the neurologist told me, she was like, Sophia, you're going to be out of school for the rest of the year. And I hadn't even come to the terms with the fact that I was going to be out of lacrosse for the rest of the year, much less school. And so that was just like shocking to me. And what followed was months and months and months. I think it was 9 months of being unable to think or read or write. And at that point, it was just, I was going in and out of, depression and loneliness, even though there was amazing people around me, my family, my friends. It's just such a hidden injury, because once you get hit in the head or get a concussion or post-concussive syndrome, you're just out of your life. You're literally just taken out. And every day, and so then it took me a 2-year recovery process where I was going through 3 classes a day when I got back a year later, and I wasn't even sure I was going to graduate high school at that point. And at that point, I realized, well, why? Why wasn't there something protecting my head? Because your brain is the most valuable thing. Like for me, now that I'm going to college and I'm back in school and I'm learning, every day I'm so grateful for my brain. And I just couldn't believe that there was nothing protecting my head, and that, those 3 hits right here, and back here totally changed my life forever and kept me in a dark room for a year in a recovery process where occasionally I still get headaches 4 years later. And so even though I'm so grateful every day to get my brain back, there's no reason that I should have gone through that, because there should have been something on my head protecting me and protecting the other girls around me from, a stick or a ball hitting your head, which is so common in the girls' game. So every day I wish I could go back and take away that just one day playing the sport that I love and put something on my head.
So Thea, thank you so much for sharing. A lot of what you're talking about, I know is not easy. It's not easy to come forward and say, this is what happened to me. And I just have to say, you're just so amazing and so strong. And, one thing I know that you said is that you credit a lot to your family and their support and their love. I mean, can you imagine what it would be like to not have had that, which unfortunately, a lot of people don't. I still hear from parents, about head injuries, kind of like, oh, be tougher. It's some sort of toughness thing, as opposed to the serious traumatic brain injury that we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for everyone around me. My family just got me through this, and even my lacrosse team, every week one kid would come and drop off something and visit with me, and bring gifts, and my friends would drop by, and I've just, I can't even imagine getting through what I did without the amazing support of the people around me.
Yeah,
for sure, I'm super grateful.
Yeah, I hear that from you. So that's another testament to you and how amazing you and your family are. So, getting into this, and after, I know, you've made it your mission to kind of use your story to help other people. What can you talk about why you think it's so important, what you're doing and stepping up and saying, this is what happened to you, and, using your experience to help others? Why it's so important to you?
Well, I think it's so important to use my story to help empower other girls, but not only empower other girls. I feel like if my story and can prevent one concussion, one brain injury, one girl from going through what I went through, then it is so worth sharing my story. And not only my story, like it's just so worth telling the science and the studies and all of the research that's been done to prove that headgear can prevent concussions in girls lacrosse. And part of one of reasons I feel so strongly about my mission is obviously my own personal story, is that I am positive that if I was wearing headgear, at least 2 of those hits would not have impacted me the way that they did. At least, if anything, I could have walked out of that game totally fine, in my strong opinion. And so I think it's so important to have the same equity for girls, and not only to have the same equity, but empower girls and prevent brain injuries and concussions and perpetuate safety in the girls' game. That's really not at the point where it should be currently.
No, we certainly agree. What I write a lot about in the book, the resistance that's out there, which a lot of it is going away, but there is still resistance there. And one of the things that we always hear is your helmet prevent concussions? And I say, no, there's no such thing as a helmet that prevents concussions, but it certainly can prevent a concussion, and it can certainly alleviate, you get these accidental balls and sticks to the head. It certainly can alleviate the injury. For sure, the science is there, and so we obviously feel the same way, that we're so proud to have our headgear protecting so many girls now. Do you feel like you were kind of let down by what, U.S. Lacrosse? U.S. Lacrosse is the governing body, and one of the things that I would move this all forward and do is U.S. Lacrosse doing the right thing and mandating. Do you feel like you were kind of let down by the people in charge of the sport, in that way?
I feel like that U.S. Lacrosse, I played within that organization and NCAA. I think that they've done a great job of creating a organization where girls can play. What they have not done a great job of is creating a safe environment, an equitable environment for girls. I feel like U.S. Lacrosse has purposefully blocked headgear from becoming mainstream within the girls' sport, has done several things to seriously mitigate the effects, the possible effects of headgear in preventing concussions and brain injuries. And I feel like it's one of the reasons I wasn't wearing headgear that day is because of U.S. Lacrosse's insistence that it not be part of the girls' game, which honestly saddens me, because I feel like, you have this governing body that I've played for 9 years of my life, and governing body that created a game and brought a game that I love so much and my family loves and my community loves. And it's really sad to me that they wouldn't put the simple safety of our brains. They wouldn't perpetuate a product that will help our brains and protect our brains and create a safe environment. Like, it's just really sad for me, to be honest.
Yeah, no,
I do feel let down.
Yeah, no,
Sure.
I agree, and we talk about how even some of the information that comes from U.S. Lacrosse, is very influential to people, to coaches, to players, to parents, and so I talk a lot about in the book how they're not, they just haven't let you down. They've let a lot of girls down and continue to do so. Sophia, again, I just want to say one more time how, impressed I am, with you, taking clearly what is a terrible situation that, nobody would want, and, turning that situation. I always admire people when they go through things and, not use it as an excuse, but turn it around into doing some good. So I thank you. The girls, thank you. You're amazing. Keep doing your thing, and we will definitely talk to you soon. Thank you again for doing this and for everything you're doing.
Thank you so much, Rob, and thank you for everything you're doing. I
I,
really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Sophia. I'll talk to you soon. Good luck in school.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Thanks, Sophia.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.